All right, let's dive in. Get ready. Because today we're tackling the world of play.
Ooh, sounds fun.
You bet it is. And you know what? You guys sent in a ton of research for this one, case studies, global perspectives, the whole 9 yards.
Wow, that's great.
It is. And honestly, going through it all, I'm already so
Yeah,
energized. Yeah, I mean, anyone who knows me knows I love this stuff.
right.
But seeing all this evidence, the research, it's just amazing how much there is to back up what we already kind of know about how powerful play is, you
Right,
know?
literally.
Like, did you know there's all this research showing that play really is important for, like, our entire lives?
It's true. And it's funny, we tend to think of it as, like, just for kids,
Right.
but it really is so much more than that.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to be uncovering today, this idea of play as, like, a superpower.
Ooh, I like that.
Right. Because all this research shows it's not just fun and games, it's actually crucial for, I mean, everything. Our cognitive development, our emotional development, social development, even physical development.
Makes you think about, you know, when kids are playing pretend,
Yeah.
right? Like, they're doctors or firefighters or superheroes.
Yeah.
They're actually practicing these real-life skills.
Yeah, totally.
But in this safe space
Oh.
where they can just use their imagination.
And they don't even realize they're, like, flexing those social emotional muscles, right?
Exactly.
And it doesn't stop there. That one of the studies we got, it was from University Name actually, they found that adults, just regular adults, who did just 15 minutes of some kind of playful activity each day, their cortisol levels went way down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, cortisol, that's the stress hormone.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So it's not just for kids. Play can actually help us all manage stress, boost our creativity, even help make our communities stronger.
I mean, if you think about it, play is kind of like a basic human need, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like sleep or food.
Uh-huh.
It's built into us, and we need it to be, healthy
Yeah.
and well.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. One of the biggest things that came up in all this research is the power of getting outdoors, being in nature.
Ah, nature, the ultimate playground.
Right.
And, one thing you might have heard of is this idea of ecotherapy.
Ecotherapy, yeah.
It's using nature basically as a way to heal, to improve our mental and physical health. I mean, isn't it amazing how just being outside can have such a big impact?
It really is, and some of these sources dive even deeper into that, into nature therapy, they call it.
Right.
And all the incredible effects it has. Like, imagine a kid exploring the forest, they're smelling the pine needles, touching the bark on the trees, hearing those leaves crunching under their feet.
Yeah.
It's engaging all their senses, stimulating their imagination.
Makes you feel like present,
Oh, totally.
and it's always changing, so you have to be aware.
And then you've got wild play, which is all about those unstructured adventures, climbing trees, building forts.
Yes, letting those imaginations run wild.
Right.
And with wild play, kids can really test their limits, build their confidence.
So it's not just about being entertained, they're actually creating their own experiences.
Exactly, and they're figuring out what they're capable of.
So how do we bring all this amazing stuff about play to life, Not just talk about it, but actually do it every day.
Right.
Your sources had a ton of advice, creating playful spaces at home, making everyday tasks more playful.
And using those community resources, too.
Yeah. But the biggest thing for me was the focus on letting kids lead the way,
Oh, absolutely.
giving them the space and the freedom to just follow their curiosity,
Totally. Let them create their own adventures.
Like even turning chores into games.
Oh, I like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a competition to see who can sort the laundry the fastest.
Nice.
Or making up a silly song while you wash the dishes together.
It's those little changes that can make all the difference.
Exactly. And let's not forget those community resources are parks, playgrounds, libraries, community gardens. Those are all amazing places for kids to explore and just be kids.
I love that.
And what's really fascinating? Looking at all this research, it became so clear how different play is around the world.
Oh, totally.
Like different cultures have such different ways of playing.
It's true, yeah.
So let's take a minute to think about that global perspective, how different cultures approach play.
It's amazing, the variety.
Yeah.
You've got everything from Holi in India with all the vibrant colors to Kabaddi, which is all about teamwork and strategy.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's Capoeira in Brazil. It's like a dance, but also so much more.
Right. And each one is passing down traditions and culture through generations.
And it shows how play is this universal language. you know?
It really
It
does.
connects us no matter where we come from.
It celebrates our differences, but it also helps us understand each other better.
And it can even be a tool for making the world a big place.
Absolutely. By understanding how people play all over the world, we can learn to be more empathetic, more tolerant.
And build those bridges between cultures.
But let's be honest, in our busy world, it's not always easy to make play a priority.
Yeah, that's true.
Our schedules are packed, we're worried about keeping our kids safe. There's just a lot of pressure,
And that's where we have to think critically.
Right.
Look at those barriers and figure out how to overcome them.
Yeah.
Like with safety, we can teach our kids about risks, choose the right play environments for their age, and set clear boundaries.
And when it comes to time, sometimes it's about getting creative, finding those little moments in our day to be playful. Like,
Right.
can we turn that walk to the store into a scavenger hunt?
Oh, I love that.
Or have a family dance party while we're cooking dinner?
It's about changing how we think.
It really is.
And, communities can play a big role here, too.
Yeah.
We can advocate for more play-friendly spaces, support those organizations that promote play, and just talk to other parents about it. Share the challenges and the joys.
Exactly, because it really does take a village, right?
It does.
And speaking of inspiring things, the research highlighted some amazing initiatives that are changing the way we think about play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, things like forest schools, nature-based playgrounds, community gardens.
I've heard of those.
They're all creating these incredible environments where kids can be creative, explore, and connect with nature.
That's so important.
It is, and what's really cool is that they go beyond just providing a space to play.
Yeah.
They're designed to help kids develop in every way, physically, cognitively, socially, emotionally.
It's a whole new way of thinking about education and community.
It really is. Like, there was this one story about a community garden that transformed this empty lot into this amazing space.
Wow.
Yeah, kids learned about gardening and nutrition. Families came together to eat and share stories. It brought the whole neighborhood together.
That's incredible.
It is, and it shows how powerful these experiences can be,
They shape who we are.
They do. Like, I think back to my own childhood. Some of my best memories are from playing in the woods behind my house.
It's those experiences that stay with us.
They do.
And this story, and so many others like it, show how transformative play can be when we make it a part of our lives.
Absolutely. We've been talking about all the amazing things play can do for us, as individuals.
Right.
But what about the bigger picture? Like, how can play make a difference in the world and our communities?
That's a great question. And, the research is full of examples of how play is being used to make a real impact.
Yeah. Like what?
Well, take forest schools, for example.
Oh, yeah. Forest schools.
It's not just about letting kids loose in the woods. It's actually a very intentional way of using nature to help them learn and grow.
And you sent over some research on community gardens, too.
Yes. Community gardens are another fantastic example.
Okay, so how do they fit in?
Well, with forest schools, kids are learning about the environment, about sustainability, all through these hands-on experiences.
Oh, I see.
And at the same time, they're developing their creativity, their problem-solving skills, their emotional intelligence.
So it's good for the kids and good for the planet.
Exactly. It's a win-win.
I like that.
And then you have nature-based playgrounds, which are becoming so popular, especially in cities.
Yeah, I've seen those popping up everywhere.
They're really challenging the idea of what a playground should be,
How so?
Instead of those like plastic and metal structures, they use natural elements like logs and rocks and sand.
Oh, that's so cool.
It is. It lets kids engage with nature in a much more creative way.
Makes sense.
And it's not just about physical activity. Studies have shown that kids who play in these nature-based playgrounds are better at working together, solving problems, and just interacting with each other.
It's like bringing the best of the outdoors into the urban environment.
Exactly.
And all those benefits come along with it.
Absolutely.
One thing that surprised me in the research was how beneficial those classic games like tag and hide and seek are for kids. Yeah, one study found that kids who played those games regularly actually developed better communication skills.
Interesting.
Like they were better at understanding social cues and things like that.
That makes sense.
And it wasn't just social skills. They also seemed to have a greater appreciation for nature. Like they cared more about the environment.
That's so important, especially now.
It is. We need to be teaching kids to care about the planet.
Absolutely.
Okay, back to community gardens for a second.
Sure.
There's such a great example of how play can bring people of all ages together,
Absolutely.
We often think of play as just for kids,
Right.
but it's important for adults too.
Absolutely.
And garden itself can be really playful, especially for kids.
Yeah, digging in the dirt, Planting seeds, watching things grow.
It's all about using your senses, connecting with nature.
And it teaches them responsibility, patience.
Those are good lessons.
They are.
And community gardens often become these like hubs where people from the neighborhood can come together, connect.
It's like creating community through play.
I love that.
And let's not forget about us grown-ups.
Right?
Play is so important for us, too.
It is. We tend to get so serious as we get older.
Yeah, we think play is silly, something we should have left behind.
But keeping that playful spirit alive can actually be really good for our mental and physical health.
It can. Think about how good you feel after a spontaneous dance party, or solving a tricky puzzle, or just laughing with friends.
It's true. Those things bring us joy, reduce stress, and help us connect with each other.
Exactly. And one study even found that adults who make time for play are more resilient, more optimistic.
Wow, I like the sound of that.
And, you know, on a deeper level, play helps us tap into our creativity.
Yeah.
It brings back that sense of wonder, reminds us of the simple joys in life.
It helps us lighten up a little bit, you know?
Exactly.
So as we navigate this crazy world, it's more important than ever to hold on to that power of play.
I agree.
It's not just something nice to have, it's something we need, both for ourselves and for our communities.
Well said.
Okay, so we've talked about all the amazing benefits for us, for our communities.
Right.
But let's be real for a second.
Okay.
It's not always easy to make play a priority, is it?
You're right, it's not.
And all this research you gave me, it really highlights that, all those barriers that get in the way.
Yeah, there are a lot of them.
Like one of the biggest ones, especially for parents, is safety.
Of course.
We want to protect our kids, but sometimes I think we can get a little too focused on that.
Yeah, I think so too.
And we miss out on those chances for them to learn and grow by taking risks, you know?
It's like, how can you learn to ride a bike if you're afraid to fall?
Exactly. So how do we find that balance? How do we keep them safe, but still give them the freedom to explore?
Well, the research talks about this idea of separating the idea of risk from the actual risk.
Okay, I like that.
Like, a scraped knee from climbing a tree is not the same as a serious injury.
Right, right.
And those smaller risks, those are the ones that actually help kids learn how to assess danger, solve problems, and bounce back from setbacks.
It's about teaching them to be brave, but also smart.
Exactly.
And that takes education not just for the kids, but for us parents, too.
Definitely.
We need to teach them about safety, set boundaries, but also choose places for them to play that are appropriate for their age.
You know, there was this quote in one of the articles, I think it was from a child psychologist. They said, "We're so focused on keeping kids safe that we've forgotten to let them be brave."
Wow, that's powerful.
It is, isn't it?
And on top of safety, there's the time crunch.
Oh, yeah, the never-ending time crunch.
Busy schedules, work, all those things on our to-do lists.
It can feel impossible to fit play in.
But you know what? One of the things that stood out to me in all this research was this idea that we don't need hours and hours of free time to make play happen.
Oh, that's good.
It's more about finding those little moments in our day and making them playful.
Stealing those little moments.
Exactly, like
Yeah.
having a dance break while you're cleaning the house.
I love that.
Or turning that walk to the bus stop into an adventure.
One study even suggested that having more playfulness at work could actually make people more productive.
Now that's an idea I can get behind.
Right.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of play, it makes me wonder, what if we really embraced play as this fundamental right?
That's a big question.
It is, but imagine communities designed with play in mind, adults making time for play just like they do for work, kids having all these opportunities to explore and discover.
It's a beautiful vision.
It is, and it's something worth striving for.
It is.
So thank you all for joining us on this journey into the world of play.
It's been a pleasure.
And remember, no matter how old you are, keep playing, keep exploring, keep that playful spark alive. You never know what amazing things you might discover.